Hey everyone, it's Cryptix, and today we're going to be exploring the manifestation side of Cryptix again. This is a PowerPoint version of the MS Paint version of this video I made, just going over why I think the reality of a mirror analogy is really flawed, and then my, I hope, improvement of my analogy of reality as a sea. And let's just go ahead and get into it. And what does the mirror analogy say? A mirror analogy just says that you cannot change your 3D, your outer world, unless you look at yourself and say, yep, I have to change this about myself so that I can see more of what I want to see on the outside. So basically your thoughts just reflect and they manifest into reality. And this is like your expectations, beliefs, and vibrations also play a role in this. If you want your desire, you have to align with it, and then you'll successfully manifest them. And then if you have negative beliefs about something, reality will reflect that and just give you more of that negativity, and then the same goes with positive beliefs. And then when you to manifest, you just have to change your thoughts and beliefs or vibration to align with your desire. And then some of the flaws that this analogy has is that if reality only reflects you, your thoughts, your expectations, your beliefs, whatever, then how can something new happen? Like, say, we see this with seatbelt advertisements a lot. If someone says that, this car accident, it'll totally never happen to me, and like they'll say it every day, or they'll fully believe it. They'll be like, yep, every time they get in the car, they're like, yep, that won't happen to me. But then one day they do. And we see this on those seatbelt advertisements, that this is clearly something that happens a lot. Well, why does that happen? Shouldn't their expectations of safety just have manifested and made sure that they never would have gotten into an accident long before that even would have happened? How could this person, or literally anyone, be proven wrong? How can people have misconceptions if their thoughts manifest into reality? Say if some people when they were younger, they believed the moon was made out of cheese, or like say they believe unicorns exist, or whatever, right? How come that thought didn't manifest into reality? And then like say you never expected like something traumatic to happen to you, like you just didn't even think about it, especially if you're younger. It just wasn't even in your brain. Why didn't reality reflect that and just make that so that nothing bad happened to you? If it was a perfect mirror, that outside event that doesn't match your reflection shouldn't have happened. You would have to at least think of, or at the very least have extremely negative energy for this to happen, which usually isn't the case. And then what if you didn't have thoughts? What if we do with babies, or even before that, where there's no thoughts available to be manifested? What does reality have to reflect? I mean, we can say past lives, or energy around them, but the reality is a mirror analogy deals with your own thoughts, not others. The mirror analogy is clearly missing some sort of variable to explain why not all thoughts manifest into reality. And then here's my proposal that tries to replace the basic you put something in, you get the same thing out formula that the mirror analogy follows. My analogy has a lot more variables, where you are essentially a boat on the sea, as demonstrated with my graphic, and you have some oars, which is what you can do in the real world. You can, make change. I don't know, if I wanted to flip a desk, and I flipped a desk, that's 3D action. I did something in the real world. And then you have sail, which is your 4D action. That's when you manifest. That's when you think, you visualize, you meditate, you do whatever. That is your 4D. You're trying to do something in the 4D. And then you have the universe, and the universe is the wind. And the wind is going, and you have your 4D to essentially harness that wind. The 4D harnesses the wind of the universe to create movement. And then you have the sea that you're on, the natural flow of things. This is just reality as it is right now, its current trajectory that it's going, and you are just navigating on that current trajectory. That's like the physical things, like, I don't know, like capitalism or whatever, and it's just going to get more capitalistic, I guess, or whatever. That's just the natural trajectory of things. And you're just kind of navigating through that. I don't know, it's just a random example. And then you have sunny parts of the sea or ocean or whatever, it doesn't matter, this body of water, that are your good experiences that you want to sail to. And then you have the stormy parts, which are the bad experiences that you want to avoid for the most part. And that's basically the rundown. With the sail, you have, it's slower, but it takes you further along the ocean than versus your oars. You have to have a lot of like strong endurance or willpower to be able to power through that without help of a sail to go those long distances, or you can just use your oars to just go short distances and then use your 4D action to take you the farther distances, which is optimal. You don't want to use your sail in storms unless properly handled. We'll go over that later. And if you don't use either, the natural flow is just kind of where you would just kind of drift along. If you didn't think anything, you didn't do anything, if you were essentially a plant, that's what would happen. You would just follow that natural flow. And that's basically the rundown of the theory, or proposal, whatever. And then I just came up with some why questions of, like, just kind of explaining kind of manifestation, how this theory fits into all these questions that I see about manifestation. So the first one, why do some people end up in undesirable situations, or storms, even though they have positive energy, or the opposite, sunny or good situations, even though they're super negative? But so even if your sail is up, like full sail, directed towards like the desirable, super sunny, paradise area of the waters, if you're not aware and sailing against other storms that may be approaching you from the side or from behind you on your journey to that sunny patch of water, then you can be caught in those storms, even on your perfect journey. For example, I saw this question once, like they asked if they had never even conceived of their partner cheating, and then it happened to them, like what happened? Yeah, you can say the subconscious, but I feel like there's more factors involved. So, like, if you're not actively manifesting against that possibility, your partner could cheat on you, as that's kind of up to the natural flow. You can drift to the side versus just where you're sailing. You know, it's not just like linear. The natural flow is also kind of pushing you, to the sides and a little bit too. So when you leave things up to the natural flow, it's essentially up to chance. Like, yeah, you could think, yep, my partner or boyfriend or whatever, girlfriend, whatever, will never cheat on me, and you know what? Maybe it won't ever happen because the natural flow just won't leave you there. Or you can manifest against that possibility just to be certain, and if you do it right, it shouldn't happen. Or you just leave it up to the natural flow, and they do cheat on you. It's something like that. And for the opposites, storms, even though they vary in size, they do pass on, but some people, they get caught back up in the same storm, or they go into another storm, or they have their sail partially set, so they're not getting out fast enough, or they're only using their oars, which sometimes can be more effective, or they're just coasting on the natural flow, which they're hoping that eventually drifts them out. I would recommend using your oars in this situation, just because sometimes you don't want your boat to sink before you get out the storm. All these factors play a part in why someone with negative energy can certainly reach a positive spot in the reality. It's just a lot of factors of just the natural flow, the type of storm, how you're sailing, if you're rowing out or sailing, are you only rowing, are you only sailing, and just a bunch of other things. And then, why can you spiral or have doubts yet still manifest? Like, people say, oh, it's all about belief, but how come if I don't fully believe it, then why can I still manifest? And things like that. When you spiral, you are setting your sail away from your goal. But with sails, they are slow. When you have doubts, you're just simply being aware of the storms. You're just like you're on your boat and you're looking out and you see the storm, like, oh my god, there's a storm there, oh my god, there's a storm, and you just keep thinking about it. But you're not really doing anything about it. You're not manifesting against it. You're just aware of it. You're just seeing it. At that point, you just have your sail down because you're kind of freaking out, and you're only just drifting. You're just drifting. You can always pick up back where you put, or close to where you left off, and just continue actively manifesting. Just because you had a setback doesn't mean you can't go forward still. Your position in the sea doesn't just get completely reset. The progress you made is still there. I mentioned belief, but it's not in here. You don't really need to believe that it'll manifest, but we'll go into that in a later video. Okay, but why is constantly checking / forcing the 3D, why is it bad? When you check the 3D for movement, and you're like, yeah, you're not seeing anything, or it's like, it's taking too long, what I see people do is, what they're essentially doing is that they're taking down their sail, and they're inspecting it. And they're like, well, why isn't it working? And maybe I'm doing something wrong, or maybe manifestation isn't real, or all that, and people just kind of like, they look around and they're not seeing anything, and they get super discouraged. But while you have your sail down, while you're focusing on what you're doing wrong or what you're doing right, and you're just getting frustrated, you're not allowing any wind or being able to harness the universe to push you closer to your manifestation. You are essentially just drifting at this point, because you're taking down your sail so many times that it's really not up long enough for you to sail anywhere. You're basically not using it. So you're, yeah. And then when you try to force the 3D, you're taking down your sail before you reached your destination, which means you're leaving part of the journey up to the natural current. It's just up to chance. So like I saw someone where they're trying to manifest wealth, and they had quit their jobs, and I was like, why would you do that? And that's kind of forcing the 3D. You're stopping where you're kind of close, and then you're like, yep, we're just gonna give it because we're close, and then hopefully that you're essentially leaving up for the natural current to drift you fully to your destination. You're giving up halfway, in hopes that, oh well, I can see it, so I must be there, or that I think I can see it far off in the distance, and I think I can get there. And then not focusing on taking that full journey till you reach your destination. And then when is 3D action required for manifestation? I see this question get debated a lot. Like, do you have to do anything, or does things just show up? I personally believe that when you are approaching an area where like using the wind is not effective, like say there's a rocky part of the sea that requires precision, like you're gonna get stuck unless you use your oars or 3D action. I see this like where people ask like if you're trying to manifest like a career or whatever, like can you just sit there and do nothing? No, like you have to like apply to the college you're trying to do or whatever, and actually reach that. And like the 4D will promote you to take action when 3D action is necessary. Like for this becoming a doctor example, like you'll get better professors, understand the content, or you have test styles that you excel at during your college journey. But you won't just like wake up one day and you'll be a doctor. That would be in shifting territory. The 4D works with the tools it's given in the 3D. It doesn't just break reality just because you're trying to manifest something. If you want something that like fully breaks reality, that is a shift. That is not within manifestation, or sometimes that's within quantum jumping. It's like a spectrum. You have manifestation, quantum jumping, shifting. But we'll get into that later. For situations like manifesting an SP, the universe has the tools to alter circumstances or emotions or events or feelings, but not for you to wake up and your SP is just like, oh my god, I want to marry this person and I don't know why, just because. Like, these people are people and they have stories, events line up. It's not like you'll just it's just not going to pop out of nowhere. Think about when you're trying to manifest, think about what the universe cannot alter easily, and then take 3D action required to fill those gaps. Like with their career thing, or like I saw someone else, they were trying to manifest a certain type of car, and they had been manifesting for a while, and eventually the events lined up where they found a good deal on the car they wanted, and they bought it, and that was like the 4D pushing them to 3D action. And then why do some manifestations take longer than others? This is basically just like your distance from your desire, which is like your pre-existing beliefs, how much change is required, how well you're able to harness the power of the universe, I guess, and your current situation, your doubts and all that, are all factors of how far away is your ship away from that sunny patch you're trying to reach. And that's basically it. And then what is energy? Like, you see energy and all that, like, what is energy? And why is desire so important? Like, you see, like, manifest your desire. Well, what is desire? Why do you need desire? But we'll go over energy first. Energy is the ability to make change. And it's the same thing in a spiritual sense. Like, rocks had to be formed, trees had to grow, air has to move, emotions have to change. Energy is, like, literally all around us. And what do we use energy for? We use energy to be able to maintain our sail, our ability to access and use the 4D. And you see this with divination. Like, say I have a pendulum, that's 3D, right? It's physical rock in my hand. And then you have energy, which is the connection line, like the telephone line. And then you have the 4D, which is spiritual realm. Say you're trying to contact your higher self with your pendulum or whatever. The energy required to maintain that is just the telephone line. If you use it too much, you'll feel drained and your answers will get more inaccurate as your connection to the 4D weakens with your reduced energy, and you're essentially getting to the point where you're really just swinging around a rock without that connection. And then when it comes to good and bad energy, to me it's all about whether the change supports or destroys what's important to you, which can be your own free will or freedom, but it can also be something like say I like clover lawns. I don't really know anything about clover lawns, but say I like clover lawns, and this other person or whatever, they, or a spirit or whatever, they support grass lawns, and I support clover lawns. Well, to me, when I interact with them, I'm going to see that as negative energy because they're coming after something, after a core belief that I have, or something like that. That's just like an example of something that's, I don't know, kind of not debatable. not debatable, but whatever. And then desire is just the motivator. Like, you can manifest something that you don't desire, but chances are you're not going to be motivated enough to maintain your sail position to receive that manifestation before moving on, or just getting bored and just not thinking about it entirely. Desire is just important for you to start and keep manifesting until you reach the state of wish fulfillment and then actually fully manifest it, which is a topic we'll cover in another video. I personally manifested getting pulled over by a cop by accident. And basically what I'd done is I just thought of fun quips that I could say, like what type of music would I have playing, what kind of, just coming up there with like swag and just saying something, and because I really like shock value, and I just kept thinking about this, and I knew that it would probably manifest, and I was like, bro, I should probably stop thinking about that, and I manifested against that, which is kind of like the doubts, but I didn't manifest against it hard enough, and I just kept thinking about it in like a desirable light, because I just thought it was such a fun idea, which is what that motivation to keep manifesting is, and eventually it happened, with the help of some 3D action of me being late to work. So, you can manifest something that isn't desirable. Like, I didn't really want to get pulled over, but I wanted to have that interaction while, so, it kind of lined up. So yeah, you can manifest something you don't desire, but the reason why people say it's rare, because most people aren't seeing bad situations as desirable, so you really don't have to worry about that. Why do we need to revise the past? What is revision? Revision is changing the way we intentionally perceive the past. The past doesn't actually change, and you're still going to know what actually happened, but when you revise the past, though, via manifestation, you're just giving yourself more sail usage by taking down the straps of the past that is holding your sail partially folded to the mast, which are limiting beliefs that are founded in the past that hold back your sail. So you're taking down those limiting beliefs by revising the past to loosen the straps holding your sail back and be fully able to utilize your sail and travel the sea to your destination more effectively. And then why does the opposite sometimes happen when you're manifesting? This is basically an answer I see a lot. But basically you have some storms in the way towards your manifestation, which is old negative thoughts, beliefs, negative energy of others that make up the storms in your sea, and they're still floating around. And then sometimes they're in the way, and you just kind of have to go through them before you can move where they don't roam. And that's basically it. Do other people affect your manifestations or the natural flow? Natural flow. When you manifest, you can manifest for other people, or against them. So say two people on the same SP or whatever. Intercepting manifestations just means that you will split off into two different but overall really similar realities. Think about multiplayer video games. there's different servers, right? But it's all the same game. It's the same location, same NPCs, same whatever. But the influence of the other player on you on another server is no longer applicable. It doesn't apply to you anymore. And then you can't combine or manifest for someone else, but the other person has to not be manifesting against what you're trying to manifest, as that would be intercepting. You can't subconsciously reject things, but that isn't foolproof, and we should know that from, I think, Rose Subliminals and her apology video. Just because you subconsciously reject things doesn't always mean that it's not going to affect you, because I listened to that apology video, and man, what an experience that was. But the natural flow is a lot harder for an individual to change. The natural flow kind of encompasses the current state of and trajectory of reality, as well as karma. So basically, if you're not, you don't really change the natural flow. You really just kind of navigate on it or against it, because it's the water, just to get to where you want to go. It's not like reality just breaks and you just want to go to a different reality. That's a shifting type of thing. And then with karma, if people aren't manifesting against that, they'll just drift off to where that new stream is of water current, and they'll be in that bad storm because of karma. So that's basically the natural flow. And then I have some flaws in my analogy, because no analogy is perfect, and I don't think any analogy can cover everything, but I do recognize some of the flaws in my analogy. Time is really difficult to represent in this analogy. In an open sea, time is just assumed through the movement of the boat. It's not its own actor. This means accurately representing how time is only perceived would have to be like some extremely convoluted, overcomplicated way to explain into the analogy. And then representing multiple desires while sticking with the idea that reality is sea requires a sea and a boat per desire. Because if you think about it, you have multiple desires, different places you are in life, like you can be really good at your job and then just have a bad home life, or like the other way around. It just gets really complicated. While this explanation could work for a sea and boat per desire, it'd make further explanations of shifting really hard to explain and just kind of overcomplicate the analogy. And the role of emotions is not covered. I thought about how to put emotions in it. I guess that's kind of like the 4D. But I see a lot of debate about how you need a robotic affirm, you need to have emotions, or emotions, you don't need emotions, you can affirm robotically, well, whatnot. Personally, when I manifest, I just use both, because I'm like, well, one of them's gotta work. So I didn't really know how to fit emotions into that. I guess you could loop it in with a 4D, but it's not like its own variable in this. And then quantum jumping and shifting is not really in this analogy, as it'd be really hard to implement with a boat in a sea type thing. And then being aware of the storms that arise to manifest against them could cause unnecessary paranoia, and those who don't have faith in their abilities to manifest. And we'll go over why in the next slide. You don't really have to worry about being aware these storms are going to manifest, or like, oh no, I thought a bad thought and now it's going to manifest, oh no, what am I going to do? It's really not like that. And then this analogy doesn't cover why some manifestations just don't manifest. And then I made a separate video explaining the process on why that happens, which will be later in another video. And then practical application, which is probably why most of y'all are here. Manifest negative events before they occur. I cannot stress this enough. I see so many people trying to manifest when they are in like a dire health situation that they really should be seeking. Not manifestation. They should be seeking real life 3D help from somebody else, or like other systems in place. And I see it too many times where people start manifesting in this type of storm. And we'll go over why I think 3D action is, that's the next 3D action when in storms, when the winds aren't strong enough to carry you fast enough to your liking, please take 3D action. But simply being aware of the storms won't prevent or encourage them to happen. Like if you're looking out and you see a storm far out, if you're not doing anything against it, it's just up to the natural flow. You're not changing anything. It's just if it does happen, that's because it would have happened anyways. You didn't think anything to make it happen more or against it if you're not doing anything about it. If you're just being aware of it, it's not going to change anything. If you happen to think about it once, it's not going to do anything. Or you think about it a lot. Like, I see a lot of people with, like, extreme paranoia. They think that, oh, this bad thing's going to happen. But then it, like, go throughout life and it really doesn't, but they're still afraid of it because they're not really manifesting against, for or against it. As we went with the role of desire. If you're not really trying to sail over there and you're just looking at it, it's not going to make you manifest it. So you're completely fine. Yeah, take 3D action when you're in storms, if possible, please. And then, yeah, don't worry about doubts. You can still obtain your manifestation, even if you have doubts. Like, they hold you back, yeah, but it won't make your manifestation impossible. It's not the end of the world. You can still get what you want as long as you keep making progress. And then, if you're in a storm, make sure you're maintaining your sail direction and keeping it up if you do use your sail as a significant portion of your ability to move throughout the ocean or sea, whatever. Be aware it may take longer than using your oars or 3D action / 3D action. And then just be aware of what manifestations are fulfilled fastest by your oars or your sails or a combination of both. Like, for example, if I wanted a cupcake, why would I manifest a cupcake? I would go to the store or I'd go to my kitchen and I'd grab a cupcake. Or say I wanted SP, I wouldn't just harass them. That's, like, wrong and illegal, and it's just going to push you further away. I would instead use my sails and wait for events to line up for me to eventually have it come to me, and then where everything's fine and everyone's chill with it. And then a combination of both, like we said, with, like, becoming a doctor or something. You have to take the 3D action of, like, actually going to the school, and then the 4D action of having you help progress through those steps within the 3D, like the better professors and all that. And that's basically it. Closing notes, my aim with this channel is to, well, we'll have fun, but we know that manifestation works, but, like, why? And that's my aim. I want to ask why and try to answer that why to the best of my ability. I don't think there's a single analogy that can perfectly explain how manifestation works without becoming super overcomplicated and really hard to understand. But perhaps I'm not understanding the mirror analogy, and the mirror analogy is the best analogy ever, or maybe there's some other analogy out there that I'm not aware of that's way better than mine, or maybe mine's too complicated and I don't see that, or maybe my analogy is maybe actually an improvement. If you think any of this, if I'm right or wrong, like, don't just tell me that. Don't just say I'm dumb or I'm smart or whatever. Just tell me why so I can improve, or I can scrap these analogies, and then, I don't know, maybe I'll make a video about why the mirror analogies are the best analogy ever and why I'm completely wrong and I'm a dumbass. But basically, I want us to try to ask a why question every day. My whole channel is about promoting just thinking for yourself. I wouldn't ask too many why questions per day. You will burn yourself out. So try to at least ask just one each day, just as, like, a little mental exercise. It doesn't have to be spiritual. It can be something mundane, like, why are pencils yellow? Like, just something simple. Or why do light switches click? Just try to, like, learn more about your world, and don't just take just face value answers and just, oh, like, yeah, I saw a YouTuber say it, and yep, that must be 100% true. So I feel like I really want to promote people just thinking of new ideas, even if they're wrong. Like, just mix the pot of ideas, which is something I really want to promote with my channel. But that's basically it. That is the reality is a sea analogy that I have come up with, along with a couple of other things. So, yeah, that's basically it. If you have any other ideas, or if you think my analogy is wrong, like I said, please go ahead and say that in the comments. And that's it. Cryptics out.